Worth the Trip features a wide variety of out-of-school activities and offers practical advice on how to organise and get the best out of school trips. Coming up, Trevor Langston and his group of Year 11 Business Studies pupils from Whalley Range are on an educational visit to Cadbury World in Birmingham. And Lorraine Curry's Year 7 pupils visit the Roman Legionary Museum and Carleon fortresses to experience Roman life in Britain 2,000 years ago.
The trip that we're going on to is to Cadbury's World in Birmingham. It's part of an assignment that the students have to do as part of their GMBQ Intermediate in Business. They have to compare a public limited company with a sole trader or partnership. We find them the public limited company and they find the contrasting business. We've chosen this company because it makes something and because it makes something that the students enjoy. So they've got a bit of an interest in it already, and it's good for them to conceptualise because it's a manufacturing business. First of all, we'll be getting there and going straight into a tour which actually takes you around various different bits and pieces. It talks about the history of Cadbury, why they're located where they did, how they make the chocolate. That's a self-guided thing, so we go round at our own pace and I can stop the students and say, make sure you've got notes on that. It's good that it's self-guided because we can focus on what we want. And then finally we have a talk where they have an education officer who we've already briefed him on what we want. So he's going to do a talk for us and hopefully cover all the main areas we need. Organising a trip's a bit of a nightmare, and it's very easy to be put off from doing it because first of all obviously you've got to organise with the company and they've got quite a long lead time, so we had to get this done before the summer holidays or else we wouldn't have been able to get in probably before Christmas. Then it's all the process of organising a coach, making sure you've got the risk assessments done, getting all the letters out to the parents, getting permission slips in, getting the money in, making sure that's handed in quickly and then it's safe.
My involvement with the trips is that I try to coordinate and arrange most of the trips, and last year in our department we managed to get 49 events organised within business. One of the ways that we've made taking the trips out easier, because as you know it's a lot of paperwork to do, is that we've prepared a trips checklist which I have here. Now, as you can see, there are 16 things that have to take place. So what we do by putting all this, first a nice simple checklist, but we've put as many of the standard forms as possible onto the shared drive so that the letters that will go with the trips are all prepared and they only have to change the dates and the cost of the trip and so on. And by doing that it makes it less daunting. All the risk assessment forms are already on the shared drive. So again, if you're going on a coach trip, you're going on a coach trip, so the risk assessment is very similar. One thing that we do, because we do so many trips, we use the same coach firms and we negotiate deals with them. So that is one way that we can try to minimise the cost.
In terms of leaving stuff on the coach, you can...
The actual tour will be very much helping them through it because they're absolutely bombarded with information and only certain bits of it are relevant, so we'll be very much sort of focusing them on what they need to get out of it, because otherwise they'll just go round and they won't really know what they're looking for. The talk this afternoon obviously will be very much them leading it, but even then at the end we'll be making sure that there's any follow-up questions are asked that we know fill in the gaps. So we're constantly thinking, right, they need this, this and this, but they've missed that out, so we must make sure we ask supplementary questions. So no, it's quite an active one for us today.
You've got to find out some more information about ownership, all about them being a public limited company, and there's some questions there.
They've got
hang on, hang on.
Students tour the factory and learn about the history of the company. In total, the venue informs around 1,500 school groups each year.
So far we've heard a bit about why the company located where it did, and they've made some notes in the last room. Now they're listening to some machines that are telling them how a particular chocolate is made, and also we've been told a little bit about what they do for their employees. So hopefully we've got some notes now which we can work on when we get back into the classroom.
So it's a dead simple flow diagram, yeah? Washing, roasting, cooling, converting. When you can jot down there, Simon, it's converting from the cocoa bean to the cocoa mass. Okay? So converting from cocoa bean into the cocoa mass.
The best thing is the fact that it's broken up so differently. They've watched videos, they've had a chance to interact, they've actually made a little bit of chocolate. We've eaten some, they've eaten some. So it always, they remember it. You know, when we get back to the classroom, they'll remember, do you remember when you made that? Do you remember when you ate that? So it just brings it to life, and all just the colour and everything, it summarises it really well. And I get to eat lots of chocolate. Girls, I'm worried that you lot haven't made any notes on how that works. Have you?
Yeah, I'm thinking of
So you can describe how a Cadbury's cream egg is made?
Yeah.
Okay, as long as you have, I'm happy. Don't forget the moulding. Moulding, very important process, okay? And the wrapping, obviously. Okay?
So you're going to feel sick when you eat that.
I know.
The trip is key to the pupils' knowledge of the subject, and the experience will help with their assignment.
It's different to like a classroom, because in a classroom you
just
sat there, but when you're doing it and you're seeing for yourself, it helps you to learn. It's more like physical instead of just writing it down.
It helps the assignment because you don't learn a lot whilst you're in the classroom. You find it better when you're out there and you find out how it works and how everything works, and you find out the history and everything, so it's better.
Students never make as many notes as I hope they would, but when we get back and I consolidate it all, I'm sure it'll all come back to them. So yeah, I think it went well. Students seem to enjoy themselves on the whole.
Similar business studies trips are available around the country. The business information provision at Newcastle Libraries shows students how to source company information such as articles, data and financial reports. Greggs in Manchester invites students to see how it prepares the food for its sandwich and pie shops. Although most famous as a recreational attraction, Alton Towers also offers an educational day out. The business of leisure includes marketing, customer service and promotion. At the Jaguar Education Centre in Liverpool, students can see how cars are manufactured. The tour takes them from the initial design stage using life-size clay models to the finished product. Warburton's offers pupils the chance to tour their factories in Nottingham, Bolton and Newcastle and learn how they make, market and distribute their bread. Danesfield Community School in Somerset is visiting the remains of the only fully excavated Roman amphitheatre in Britain and the only legionary barracks in Europe.
We take the classes on trips quite often in our department. Generally, I would say that per year we take them on at least two visits in each year group. We've chosen Carleon, the Roman Legionary Museum, because partly it's not too far away, it's only 2 hours away, and it is one of the best sites that we've seen for teaching about the Romans. It has 4 sites and it's quite varied. You've got some sites outside, you've got the museum, you've got the Roman baths, and it really is a fun-packed day. The children don't get bored, there's something going on all the time, and it's a really good example to highlight some of the things that we're doing in school. We are studying the Roman army at the moment. We're looking at strengths, the reasons why that particular army was so powerful, and it really does fit in with that. You can go to each of the sites and look at that key question in turn at each of those sites and find evidence for it. I don't worry about taking the children out, and I don't worry necessarily about their safety. What I do worry about is, have I got everything in place just in case? Have I got all the packs of information ready? Do I have the medical bags? Have I remembered clipboards? It's all of the organisational things I worry about in terms of have I remembered absolutely everything. But as far as the safety of the children and the day itself, that will all be prepared and will all be sorted beforehand anyway. So I don't worry about that. Right, so you have to be talented to build things like roads, forts, okay, brilliant. Organisation and preparation is the most important thing. You need to go through exactly what you want to do, what the children are going to get out of the visit, and how best to use the site that you're going to in order to actually extend the curriculum training and the education of those pupils.
3 coaches carrying 130 Year 7 pupils arrive in Caerleon.
The journey down was great. We were a bit late leaving. We lost a couple of buses on the way, but we managed to meet up. But it was fine, absolutely fine. It's essential that you organise your groups before you arrive, so that when you get here, the children know who their team leader is, who their group leader will be, where you're going. It would be chaos if you came with 130 kids and then you were trying to group them while you were here. So no, it must be done at school. Holly, James and Toby, you are counted by me. Use the crossing. Okay.
You, Group 1, will be with your teacher. You're going through that door out there and you are going to enter into our barrack room. I know you haven't been here long today. Can anyone tell me what is a barrack room? My name is Heidi and I work here at the Roman Legionary Museum. I deal with the school visits that arrive here, and my role really is to sort of facilitate and do role playing with them. It's basically where they get a chance to dress up and have a bit of fun, really. Come on, move it! Come on! Move it, move it. Come on. The feedback we get from them is instant. They enjoy it. Everything that they've seen throughout the day is sort of brought to life with costume interpretation, role play. You know, they get a chance to dress up as soldiers, as masters, as slaves. They're serving food, they're lying in a barrack room. It's all brought to life to them in this session, everything.
Could we please have a round of applause for the entertainment?
What you need to do is just pick up the sail, pop it in the mouth and eat it in one there, so you don't.
A visit combines role-play sessions with the study of historical monuments and artefacts.
Yes. What would they not have had that we've got today? Doctors. Well, they would have had some doctors, but no hospitals, no medicine, the same as we've got. Yeah, you did have some cavalry. Yeah, you did have some cavalry. They tended to be a bit more important than just the ordinary legionary, like this person. He would be sort of an ordinary soldier, and then you would have other soldiers who would be trained to do something else. If it rains, and it rained last year, then we get wet. If it's really bad, then we can perhaps spend longer in the inside areas. But generally, we're only outside for half the day, and if we get wet, we get wet.
The pupils explore what was once a thriving civilian and military settlement.
I've loved it because it's great looking around at all the interesting things about history and seeing the way it's all changed.
Reading about it, you don't get the full picture and stuff like that, but when you actually go to the places you can see what they did and you can see the actual size of it and all the detail.
The trip was really good today. They got loads out of it. They've had a thoroughly good day, and they've learned an awful lot which we can actually take back to the classroom.
Here are some examples of history trips available across the country. Eden Camp in York transports the pupils of all ages back to life in wartime Britain. The exhibits reconstruct the sounds, smells and spirits of the Second World War. The Imperial War Museum in Salford covers many conflicts from the First World War to the Cold War. The Natural History Museum in London offers pupils aged 3 to 18 a huge variety of experience and activity to do with the natural world. Warwick Castle is situated 2 miles from Junction 15 off the M40. The castle brings medieval history to life. English Heritage provides free educational trips to over 400 sites across England, from Stonehenge and the Roman invasion to Dunkirk and World War II.